Life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. That's exactly what happened the night my sister and I decided to swap roles, a playful idea that began as a harmless game but ended up reshaping my heart and rewriting the story of my life. I was the quiet one between us, the kind of person who stayed in the background while my sister, lively and outgoing, often stood in the spotlight. She had the charisma, the charm, and the boldness that drew people to her. I, on the other hand, was comfortable keeping my thoughts to myself, watching quietly as life unfolded around me. That evening, she came into my room with her usual mischievous grin. "Let's switch places just for tonight," she said, almost like it was the most natural thing in the world. "You be me, I'll be you. No one will notice. It'll be fun." At first, I laughed at the absurdity of it. We weren't identical twins, but we were sisters close enough in looks and mannerisms that with the right clothes and hair adjustments, we could pass off as one another. Her confidence was contagious, and something inside me, tired of always being the quiet observer, whispered, "Why not?" And so I agreed. Slipping into her dress felt like stepping into a different version of myself. She brushed my hair, added a touch of makeup, and coached me on her carefree laugh and bold expressions. When I looked in the mirror, I hardly recognized myself. I wasn't the shy, quiet girl anymore. I was her, radiant, magnetic, and daring. The night began with a small family gathering that my sister usually commanded with her lively chatter. I walked into the room, pretending to be her, and for the first time in my life, eyes lingered on me. People leaned closer when I spoke, laughing at words I would normally never dare to say. I felt a rush of something I'd never experienced before, freedom. Then he walked in. Daniel was a family friend, someone we'd known for years but who had always seemed distant to me. My sister had often teased me, saying he was too serious and too focused to notice anyone, but that night when his eyes met mine, something shifted. He didn't just glance, he saw me. "Good evening," he said with a polite smile, though his gaze lingered longer than usual. For a moment, I forgot I was supposed to be my sister. My heartbeat quickened, and I almost slipped into my usual soft-spoken tone, but I caught myself and mirrored the confidence my sister always carried. "Evening, Daniel," I replied with a playful tilt of my head, surprising myself with how natural it sounded. As the evening went on, he gravitated toward me. We talked more than we ever had before, and every word felt like a spark I had never known. He asked questions, listened intently, and when I laughed, his eyes softened as though he was seeing a new side of me, or rather, of the sister he thought I was. It was intoxicating, dangerous, and thrilling. The more we spoke, the more I realized I wasn't pretending anymore. I was showing him parts of myself I had kept hidden for too long. Behind the mask of my sister's role, I had the courage to reveal my humor, my thoughts, my dreams. And he responded to them in a way I had never dared to imagine. The night ended with a quiet walk outside. The moonlight stretched across the garden as we lingered by the gate. He looked at me with an intensity that made my breath catch. "You're different tonight," he said softly, almost as if he was speaking to himself. For a moment, panic rose inside me. Did he know? Did he sense that I wasn't who I was pretending to be? But before I could respond, he smiled and added, "Different in a good way." Those words stayed with me long after the night ended. When my sister and I finally traded back our roles, I collapsed onto my bed, my heart pounding. She laughed, asking how it went, and I brushed her off with a vague smile. I didn't dare tell her what I was feeling. Something had awakened inside me that I wasn't ready to share. Days passed, but the memory of that night lingered like a sweet secret. Daniel reached out more often than before. He sent messages, asked about small things, invited us to gatherings. I could tell he was drawn to me, but the problem was he thought I was my sister. The guilt gnawed at me, but so did the desire. Each time we spoke, I wanted to tell him the truth, yet fear silenced me. What if he only liked the version of me I had shown that night? What if the quiet, shy girl I truly was didn't interest him at all? The turning point came one evening when he invited me out for coffee. My sister, ever the playful spirit, nudged me.
go, she said.
He clearly likes you. You deserve this. I stared at her, startled. But he thinks I'm you. She gave me a knowing smile. Maybe he sees more than you think. Maybe you're the one who doesn't realize what you're worth. Those words gave me the courage to go. The cafe was warm and cozy, filled with the hum of soft conversations. When I walked in, Daniel stood up, his smile lighting up his face. "I'm glad you came," he said. We talked for hours about life, dreams, regrets, and hopes. And then he said something that nearly made me break down. "I don't know how to explain it, but you've changed," he said quietly. "I used to think you were distant, hard to reach. But now I see this warmth in you, this light. It's like you were hiding it all along." Tears threatened to spill from my eyes. In that moment, I realized he wasn't falling for the mask I wore. He was falling for me, for the parts of me I had always been too afraid to show. I took a shaky breath and whispered, "There's something you need to know." And so I told him. I confessed about the night, the switch, the game my sister and I had played. I told him how it wasn't her he had connected with, it was me, stepping into her role. I expected him to be shocked, maybe even angry, but instead, he just sat quietly listening. When I finally finished, he reached across the table, his hand covering mine. "I knew something was different that night," he said softly. "And now I understand why. It wasn't her. It was you all along." Relief washed over me in waves. For the first time, I felt truly seen. From that night on, everything changed. Our bond deepened. Not through pretense, but through honesty. He encouraged me to embrace the parts of myself I had always hidden, reminding me that I didn't need to be my sister to shine. I could be me, quiet, thoughtful, sometimes shy, and still be worthy of love. My sister, ever supportive, cheered me on with her playful teasing and knowing smiles. She was happy for me, and for once, I didn't feel like I was standing in her shadow. The night we had traded places had started as a joke, a playful game. But it became the moment that opened the door to love, to self-discovery, and to a new chapter of my life. Looking back now, I realize that love often finds us in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes, it takes stepping into someone else's shoes to discover who we truly are. And sometimes, trading places for one night can change everything forever.